Well, a very good evening to you YouTubers. This is Voice of the Composer. Welcome back to my video series. This is where we keep it raw, we keep it real. Talk to you about how I write music as an amateur composer, give you my thoughts and perspective on the music writing process. And if you happen to like the videos, definitely click that like button. You can subscribe. Hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes or leave comments below. On today's video, we will talk about four-part harmony and its relation to the grand staff with a little audience participation, so definitely stick around. But first, I'd like to give you the official college definition of four-part harmony. Four-part harmony, sir. Oh, yes, class, yes. Four-part harmony occurs when four individual lines pay close adherence to contrapuntal polyphony, thereby giving us a distribution of soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And I'm sure you've probably had a college professor just like that. But let me break it down for you folks. In music, we have these four voices called soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And we use that to designate the voices so that one's not overpowering the other when we harmonize, put voices together, when we blend things together or instrumentation together. So now I'd like you to take out a piece of staff paper and a pencil. And on the very first staff of the page, go ahead and draw a line on the left-hand corner down to the second staff. And on the top staff, write the treble clef. If you're not familiar with that, it looks kind of like maybe a backward S with a tail at the bottom of it. And then on the bottom staff, go ahead and put what looks like a hook with two dots next to it. That would be the bass clef. When we combine this, we have what we call the grand staff. And this is where everything pretty much goes in the early stages of writing music. So with the voices, let's break the voices down for you with soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. So for the soprano voice, it has a range of low C to A5 up in the treble or above the treble. Then we have the tenor range, which can play C in the bass or C3 in the bass up to C5 in the treble, followed by the alto voice, which kind of works as a chameleon. It can go down on the bass to C3 and play up to A6 in the treble. And then finally we have the bass, which can play E2 just below the bass clef up to E4, two steps above middle C. So to kind of put this all into perspective and have it make sense for you if you're not familiar with this, in the middle of your page, or the middle of those two staffs rather, go ahead and draw a circle, put a line through that, and then right next to it, middle C. And this is what we know as C4 or middle C. And as you can tell, these voices go up or down depending on where middle C is. However, there are a couple exceptions to this. For example, with the viola clef, which is a specific clef for the viola, its middle C happens to be on the third line of its staff. And for instruments such as tenor trombone or trombone, cello, and bassoon, they can play in what's known as the tenor clef or tenor range. And so the tenor clef has the fourth or the middle C on the fourth line of its staff. So you can kind of see how all these voices start to weave in and out of the grand staff here. And that is how we harmonize on the grand staff. So in our next video, we'll go ahead and talk about doing chords on the grand staff, and you'll see how it all comes together with voicing. So join me for that. And this is Voice of the Composer. Thank you so much for being with me. If you like the series, definitely click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes, or leave comments below. This is Voice of the Composer. Peace out, everybody. Have a good night.